All right, let's see how to get in here. I don't think this is gonna work. We're gonna have to just go on. Dude, how the hell do I get in here? All right, so today we're going to sit down with one of my friends who bought with me about a year ago, actually this month, last year. And we're gonna talk about what his experience was like as a first-time home buyer here in Charlotte. And that way you can kind of learn. So if you're thinking about buying a house, then you can take some of the stuff that we have to talk about. So we'll go check it out. What's up, man?
What's up, dude? How's it going?
Good to see you.
Yeah, man. Come on in.
You want some drinks?
Yes.
All right, we'll go ahead and close this. All right.
This is the bar.
Yeah, because so mine's fully stocked with more bourbon and then a little bit of everything else like this.
This is that green bottle down there, the Lefroy quarter cask. It's super good. Smoky, peaty.
It is potent.
Yeah.
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 So we can have some of that.
Yeah, we definitely can.
The best scotch. Have you ever had Lagavulin? This stuff? Super good. It's pretty pricey, but the thing I love about scotch is I'll spend the same on a bottle of wine as do on a bottle of scotch, but it lasts I've had this for 2 years. All right, let's do old fashioned with Basil Hayden's and grab two of the whiskey glasses, and I'll get the mixing stuff.
You know what else? Who else has really good cocktails is Crunkleton.
Oh yeah, Crunkleton's awesome.
You go sit at Crunkleton and you're like, I want some kind of bourbon that's good, not too expensive, and that I've probably never had before. And they'll pull out some bottle and you're just like, never seen that in my life. And it's delicious. My favorite one that they've got is the Vucare. It's a barrel-aged drink. It is so good.
Do you like Negronis?
I can't say I've ever had them.
Oof. Negroni's good. It's gin. It's equal parts gin, Campari, and vermouth. It's honestly my go-to drink.
We met a couple years ago at a real producer party, and then literally from watching my Instagram, I posted when I was in Villa Heights, and you DM me and you're like, dude, where's that?
I think I was actually in Birmingham.
When we went under contract?
Yeah.
I want to say that was the same weekend that I was at another wedding.
It was the day of my sister's wedding, because I remember calling you morning of to put in our final offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was that was quite a weekend. We started looking a little bit over a year ago. So this ended up being the best of both worlds with the walkability and the lack of upkeep for you.
Yeah.
Which is pretty nice.
I mean, having a condo, walls in only, inspection, super easy. Don't have a yard I have to take care of. So yeah, it was super easy, smooth due diligence and closing period.
With first-time buyers especially, it's if you're looking at condos, the pre-approval is so important. When we talked the first time, the first thing that I'll bring up is that you need to get pre-approved. Just because Zillow and Realtor and all those companies, you can do your mortgage calculator on there, but they don't really know.
Yeah, and the payment that mortgage calculator says is never going to be your actual payment. After you add in property tax, HOA if you're doing a condo or a townhome or something. So it ends up being a lot higher than most people realize. With getting pre-approved, I had been pre-approved for based off my W-2 salary, which I had been getting for years. But then just a year before I got approved, I had switched to 1099. So I did not realize they want you to have 2-year history on any 1099 income. And I was entirely self-employed at that point because I'm a financial advisor. So at that point, I realized I'd have to go to a bigger bank to get a loan because I kind of had to talk to a couple bankers and find somebody who would keep it on their books.
Right.
I mean, most mortgage companies, the smaller ones, once you take out your mortgage, it's immediately going to get
They package it and
yeah,
sell it.
securitized and sold to investors. So
It's good to talk to the big bank, and then it's also good to have a connection at a small one because they can get creative. As 1099, like that's definitely something that's important to know. Like the fact that if you're self-employed, you have to have 2 years of tax history to be able to basically show the bank that you're making consistent amounts of income that you can support having a mortgage payment. You're not going to default right away. If you have one bad month, you're not going to default on your mortgage. But we were able to find a smaller bank that was able to get creative and keep it in-house.
yeah,
It also, like, to throw on an extra layer, it was like we were looking at condos in this area that were very walkable. The HOA, just like the bank, can foreclose on you as well. And so that's why when you get pre-approved, if you're looking at condos, it's important to take into consideration the HOA payments and what they might be, because if you miss HOA payments, they have every right to foreclose on you as well. And so it's not like if you get pre-approved for a $250,000 house, well, you can buy a $250,000 condo, and if you have a $200 HOA payment, that's fine because that's what you would pay in internet and cable. It's like you have to take that into consideration with the actual purchase price.
yeah, because there's those condos down closer to Nona where the HOA is like $500 a month, which to me is kind of high, but granted they have more amenities and pool, gym, and everything. But yeah, I mean that would really hurt your purchasing power if you're trying to buy, because that's almost like additional rent on top of your mortgage, right?
Kinda.
So
What's gonna happen is as you start adding on more amenities in your condo building or with your townhome community, you're gonna start seeing that HOA price start going up. The benefit of these HOA payments that you're gonna be making is that it does cover things like a pool, concierge, building maintenance, things like that, which are hopefully going to help your living experience when you're living in these condo buildings or in these townhome communities. When you go to offer on a house in North Carolina, it's not just purchase price and close date. You're not just like, oh, I'll offer this and see what they say. So there's a lot of other items that go along with it. We go through all of the major items in the offer to purchase, and then I'll send you a summary email with those terms, and then I'll send you all the paperwork to sign. What those terms are purchase price, due diligence fee, earnest money deposit, due diligence period, close date, if you want a seller paid home warranty, if you want any seller paid closing costs, and then personal property, and then what attorney you would want to use. A couple other things that like we talked about that's important to know when you're buying, especially in North Carolina, is every house here is sold as is. And so every condo, townhouse, single family home is sold as is. So there's no items on the inspection that have to get like a passing or failing rating. Basically you conduct the entire inspection, and then what we did, which is where then you quote out some repairs and you submit that to the sellers to try and...
it's all negotiable, right?
Right.
Yeah. I kind of knew what I wanted. I'm sure I was probably easier than most.
It can help.
Yeah, so I knew I wanted Noda Villa Heights and was looking for a condo in this price range. We got it. It was pretty easy. So
It's funny, most people say, they're like, sorry, I'm super picky. I'm like, no, it makes it so much easier for me. Because if you just are like, well, I want a condo, it's like, okay, well, where? Well, I mean, like 20 minutes from work. It's like, okay. There's a lot of those.
Charlotte's, I mean, it's a city, but it's not like Atlanta. Like it still feels kind of small. So you can be 20 minutes from pretty much everywhere if you're within the 485 loop.
That's where I'd say that you're always, depending where you're at, it's like you're always 10 or 15 minutes away from something, or 30 minutes, and that's it. Yeah. Or somewhere in between. But it's like nothing is ever more than like 30 minutes away. Even like Lake Norman is 20, 30 minutes, especially from here. On this side of town, you're right up 77. To put it like bluntly, like I don't really care what people buy or when they buy. It's like, I just want to make sure that you're prepared and that you're comfortable to make that decision. I mean, I watch $1 Million Listing and all those guys, and one of them, he's got this quote that I love, and it's like, as a realtor, like, we're not here to push you into anything or pull you away from any type of house. Like, we're simply here to reassure you of the decisions you were already gonna make. If you came here and you wanted to buy this, then it's like, I'll tell you what I think is good, bad, and indifferent, like whatever about this unit. If someone wants to go buy a house in a neighborhood that may or may not be best for them, and I can see it for them, like I can feel that in their energy, that they kind of want a reason to not offer on it, then I'll talk them through that. If I can see that they're just chomping at the bit and they can't live without it, then we'll talk about every great reason. And I'll make sure to bring up anything that's like, hey, you might want to be careful about this or that, just because when we walk through these, it's like, I want to think about, okay, well, what would make it harder for me to sell this when you decide that you want to move out of here?
Yeah.
As a first-time home buyer, what would you say like the biggest thing that you learned was?
Yeah, I think biggest thing I learned is just probably the pre-approval process, and with my self-employed situation that we talked about. After we got over that, it was a pretty smooth process, and you made it easy. And yeah, overall, I love the place. It's an awesome location. I can walk to everything, and really happy with the condo. So thanks for making it happen, bud.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah.
I know. Well, it's like I had coffee, but what I need to do for the next shoot day is go get the nitro cold brew from Not Just Coffee, because that shit will just, and you're in a different world where you're like jittery.
I don't drink coffee.
You don't?